I feel that my love and longing for the external world, I mean the world of nature, has suddenly increased 1,000,000 times. When I think of the little flowers that grow in grass and little streams and places where we can lie and look up at the clouds, oh, I simply ache for them.
These words by Katherine Mansfield mean so much to my family and I, especially as they meant so much to my grandmother. My grandmother was Odette Hallows. She was a secret agent in occupied France and became World War II's most highly decorated spy. She was imprisoned at Ravensbrück concentration camp, and while there, starving and gravely ill, an SS guard took pity on her and gave her a little book. This book was the letters of Katherine Mansfield.
When I was growing up in England, I never imagined that one day I would be living in New Zealand. But here we are, in Katherine Mansfield's country of birth, and we named our eldest daughter Odette after her great-grandmother, Odette Hallows.
Good boy. It's nice to always have that connection. I always feel very close to her. I always try to make her proud. It's really moving to recreate my great-grandmother's face. I don't think I've ever looked at the minute details as I have had to for this portrait. You can just see the depth in her eyes, even in a photograph. It's been quite moving, but it's also, I feel like, a lot closer to her.
Now, your code number is S23, and your field name to us is D.
Watching the 1950s movie about my great-grandmother had a profound impact on me.
Major Buckmaster, would you do something for me? Would you have these letters posted from Scotland? I have put the dates on the back.
Yes, we'll arrange.
The school gave the girls a postcard every week. She wrote them all before she left to go to war.
Hello, Mummy. Hello. Darling, you will try to stop biting your fingernails.
You can hear her saying that, can't you?
Yeah. I mean, how could anything surpass the pain of not knowing if you would ever see your daughters again?
When Odette was tortured in Paris, the Gestapo made one mistake. They didn't turn her away from the window. So when she was tied to the chair and they pulled out all her toenails one by one, she looked up into the avenues of Paris and she looked up to the trees. And she said that's what got her through.
I feel so awfully like a tiny girl who someone has locked up in the dark cupboard, even though it's daytime. I don't want to bang at the door or make a noise, but I want you to come with a key you've made yourself and let me out. The letters of Katherine Mansfield was passed to my mother, and when she died, it was passed to my sister Nicole and I. The book had come from a female guard at Ravensbrück. So many people were being executed, and I think every moment that Odette heard footsteps outside her cell, she wondered if she was going to be next. And I think the sense I get is that she just immersed herself in this book. A kind German prison priest smuggled in 2 little French poetry and drawing books. These became incredibly precious to Odette. When we were looking through them, this is when we found the leaf that Odette spoke about after the war, and this is what she said. I was crossing the compound when I saw it lying on the ground. It was a small leaf, and I thanked God that I had seen it. I stooped and picked it up. They did not know, as they slammed the door of my cell, that I held in my fingers a most potent link with the forces of life and of freedom.
This is pretty special. That's quite a moment to be the first woman in the world, awarded the George Cross for bravery, and standing with all these extraordinary, brave men. And this, of course, is when we went to the Imperial War Museum together to see my grandmother's medals. So we have her jacket, we have her pistols, and we have the dolls that she made in prison. She's like the poster child of the Imperial War Museum, and it's very exciting that the Katherine Mansfield book that belonged to Odette is going into the Imperial War Museum.
The one book that
she could have been given in all the world. But the connections are incredible. They both lost their younger brother because Katherine talks about her tragic loss.
Since I've been alone here, the loss of my little brother has become quite real to me. I have entered into my loss, if you know what I mean. Always before that, I shrank from the final moment, but now it has passed.
She was also suffering so much with her lungs, so it would have been a sisterhood thing.
Yeah.
It would have been a real feeling of somebody else suffering like you that could get through, that has hope. And their love of nature.
Yeah.
And you so rightly said that you believe that Katherine Mansfield was her guardian angel. Out of the darkness, she felt that there was hope, there was nature she could look forward to.
Not even being in nature, but sometimes just looking at it,
Leaves, trees, this goes on, and this is what this huge connection with Katherine Mansfield. And that connection with the outside world kept her going.